like 12 world-class comics have moved here during the pandemic. So it's fucking amazing. Like the show tonight, it's Duncan Trussell and Tony Hinchcliffe and William Montgomery, and it's fucking great.
I love Duncan Trussell so much.
He's the best. I love him to death.
Like my podcasts that I've recorded, my two favorite ones are Duncan Trussell and Kevin Smith.
Oh, well, two great people to talk to.
But yeah,
great, interesting people.
Just getting into like weird, like spiritual, fucking like philosophical, like what's the universe about? Like those conversations were just so fucking great, man.
Well, Duncan, he brings out a special quality in people too. There's something about his inquisitiveness and his mind that excites a part of your mind. It makes you think that way.
Dude, when I was talking to Duncan Trussell on my podcast, I told him, we were talking about consciousness, and I said, I have a theory that people are making a mistake in assuming that the human brain is a generator of consciousness. That's where the word consciousness originates. You know, so that it's a transmitter. And I said, I believe that the brain is a receiver of consciousness. So like, say for example, if you've got a radio, you know, you can fucking take a sledgehammer, you can smash that radio to oblivion. You've killed the radio, but you've done nothing to kill the signal, right? Like the signal is still out there. We're just a radio picking up a signal, you know, and that's kind of how I look at it. And Duncan Trussell, without skipping a beat, he goes, yep, and there's some people walking around thinking, I'm the fucking Beatles.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting theory. It might be all those things. It might be you are conscious, and consciousness does emanate in you, and the whole universe is conscious as well.
Right.
It might be your consciousness communicates with all of consciousness. It might be, you know, we're limited in that term. Like, what is that term? It means you're aware. It means you're alive. So is my dog. Right. You know, I talk to him. He's obviously conscious. Sure. You know, he knows what I'm saying. He knows I love him. Yeah. It's like he's conscious. I see him in the morning. We have this thing we do in the morning. I always go up to him and I go, good morning, sir. My wife is funny because she doesn't like when he whines, but I think it's awesome. It's hilarious because he whines because he's so happy. And he always has to get a toy. He's so funny. Like whenever he gets pet, he wants to go get a toy first because he's a retriever. So he goes and gets a toy and he brings it over. And then he wants to have the toy in his mouth while he's getting pet. And he's saying, and so we do this thing. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning. I give him all this love, and he gets so fucking happy. It's so obvious he's conscious. So what is that consciousness? Like, what is that? Is he getting it from the universe? It's obviously in him too.
Right.
It's you are conscious, and consciousness exists. There's something that exists outside of us. And I think that's where you pull ideas from. They come from the ether, but they also come from your mind. They come from, you know, states of consciousness, whether it's psychedelics or meditation or yoga, or there's different ways you feel different times depending on how life is going, and all that is a factor. It is something is in you, but what is that? And how much of that is innate to you, and how much of that is just in the universe itself? Right. It's a massive mystery, and I think to isolate it to your own individual mind and to live and dwell inside your own ego and consciousness, I think it's a bit of a trap, you know. And even to just say it's not you, it's everything. You're an antenna. Like maybe you're an antenna. Maybe. I mean, it's kind of like it's a very limiting to define it in a way, because we experience it, but to try to box it in is almost to try to understand this thing that's unknowable.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to be a person and thinking, and there's so much, and also to be a person that has thousands of years of human instincts that were ingrained in us through genes and evolution for survival and for social interaction, and in order to be able to keep the species moving. Like there's all these things that are in us that maybe aren't even very self-serving, and you have to kind of navigate those. And Figure out the best way that you can manage them personally. And some people are terrible at it. And some people, they push it on everyone else and they fuck everybody else's life around them in order for them to have some sort of sense of control. They keep everybody on edge and everybody's upset. And then they get this high out of like having disputes with people and then making up. You know, like there's a lot of people out there. They have these these little bitter battles with people and they really just want love. That's really what it is. But they don't know how to get love in any way other than like being shitty to people and controlling and then apologizing and then, you know, and then making up. It's like, ugh, those roller coaster type relationships that some people get trapped in.
Yeah.
Those super highs and super lows and fuck you, I fucking hate you. And then you're fucking and having the best time ever. It's like nuts. But it's this management of this thing we call consciousness. And there's not a lot of fucking really good guidebooks on how to do it, and not specifically to you either. We're all this very complex individual machine that has all these stored emotions and life experiences and genes and family and loved ones. And there's no fucking guidebook for your individual journey. And you can kind of like pull abstract thoughts from Alan Watts and Terrence McKenna and all these different people that can kind of give you like a framework to think about individual experience. Yeah, Jordan Peterson is great for that too.
Yeah, he's fucking badass.
Right. And but then also you see flaws in each of these individual people that are giving you great advice. Well, and then you see them fuck their life up and you're like, wow, everybody is really on their own little strange journey trying to navigate this thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like Jordan in particular was on benzos, right? Which is anti-anxiety medication.
Xanax.
Yeah, and he got fucking horribly addicted to it and destroyed his life for a few years. Like, and getting off it was horrendous.
When was that?
Recently.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he just recently coming out of the fog of it all, you know, and he was on those things for quite a while, and it really fucked him up, like to the point where he didn't know if he was going to make it. Benzos are one of those things where them and alcohol, if you quit cold turkey, you'll die.
Yeah.
I mean, even heroin, you can survive quitting cold turkey, as addictive as that is. People have survived that, but benzos apparently are a fucking nightmare, a horrible nightmare to try to get over.
I loved those things, man.
I bet. I'm scared of those. I don't even want to know what that feels like. Those and Coke, I'm like, you can keep it. I don't want to